Investors are responding to the threat of escalation in the Israel-Hamas conflict, sending oil and gold prices surging. The market is pricing in the worsening of the war in the world's top oil-producing region and retreating to quote-unquote safe haven assets. For more on this, we've got Yahoo Finance's reporter Jared Blickery standing by with a little bit more insights and in-depth analysis. Hey, Jared.
That's right. We have both crude oil and gold reacting to safe haven, themes that are running throughout the market, but also inflationary themes. So it's a Federal Reserve monetary policy and also geopolitical unrest. Now, here we have WTI crude oil futures just flirting with $90 a barrel. And here is year to date what they have done. And you can see this spike right here. That was on the initial news of the Gaza incursion. But I want to show you a 2-year chart so you can compare that with the Russian invasion of the Ukraine. That was this spike all the way back in the beginning of 2022. And you can see that was actually much greater. There was more geopolitical unrest at that time. Now, I'm going to show you a max chart of oil as well. And it looks like the Wi-Fi interactive gods are not with me today. As I try to resume my feed here, I'll just point out WTI crude oil futures has spiked as much as 150, and 2007 actually brings up an interesting historical analog. It was late cycle when the Federal Reserve was standing pat. We saw gold and WTI rise a bit, and then WTI crude rallied as the Fed was even starting to cut rates. Then in 2008, we had that huge deflationary scare, which was really started by Bear Stearns and that whole mess. And then we saw crude oil fall. Now, I want to show you what's happening with gold futures as well. This is a max chart. Now, in 2008, during that deflationary crunch that we saw a little bit of a downtick in gold, but not much. And it was actually during the QE era that we saw gold finally rise. Looks like I've lost my connection again, so I'll just close by saying that we've seen a lot of pressure on commodities, but it's not even close to the scale that we saw in 2022, the beginning of the year with the Ukraine-Russia situation. So it leads me to believe that we probably have a lot more potential upside to go should things worsen. And also, as the Federal Reserve, I guess the battle between the Federal Reserve and interest rates and inflation heats up, there's also that dynamic as well. So the bottom line is commodities have really only started to take off, and it doesn't mean that they have to go up in a straight line, but thinking out to the end of this cycle and the beginning of the next one, that's where we see those pressures probably coming into play.